Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and I'm going to be sharing another very important video with everybody here today. This video is going to be about the lower and higher worlds. So we're going to do a little bit of inner exploration through this video, which is kind of interesting since I'm just doing what I can to intellectually share this to you. But a lot of this involves inner standing or inner understanding in that way. So as we go through the lower and higher worlds, like I said, if you've been a subscriber for quite some time on my YouTube channel, you kind of know where I'm going with this. If you're new, well, welcome. And you're going to be having a really great experience here, finding more about the lower and higher worlds. So we're going to start off firstly with the bottom of the barrel. We're going to start off here with this little hump, and we call this the lower world. Now in the human body, through yogic traditions, we have 6 chakras. Okay, not 7, but 6. Okay? They all represent, the chakra centers all represent these particular energy centers contained within the spine. And if we're going into a lot more of the yoga science, we will look into these centers as they have their own appropriate names. We have the root center here, or the Muladhara. We have the second center here, which we often refer to in the Western way of life, referring to it as the navel chakra, but it's not actually the navel chakra, okay? It would be actually much more in connection to the genitals. But in Sanskrit, it would be referred to as Swadisthana. Then we have the third center, which again, in the Western philosophy, we believe it's right here, but it's not. It's not here. It's actually below the navel. So the third center is actually more of the navel area, okay? And that is referred to as manipura. And the fourth center, well, looks like the West and the East have both got this one right. That, of course, is the heart center, or anahata. Then we have the fifth center, which again, the West and the East both agree with, the throat chakra, or the Vishuddha chakra. And then, of course, finally, the sixth center, to which we would refer to as the anya chakra, or again, some people refer to it as the inner eye, the brow chakra, the third eye, etc. Okay? But of course, that center is not actually focused here, but it's actually focused more down here. There are quite a few different yogis, specifically those who follow Kundalini yoga, Kriya yoga, and more, even in looking into other different forms of yogic circles, agree that basically when we're looking at the anya chakra, we would actually want to look right about here. And that area is the medulla oblongata, okay? So right around this area here. So basically if we were to trace the nostrils back and go right around the area of the back of the head, we would have the medulla oblongata. And you can actually find it if you start doing one of two methods. First method is just doing this. Okay, you're slowly shaking your head very gently. And you can feel that little screw, that little bolt that connects the base of the skull together with the neck. That is an approximate area to where the medulla oblongata is. Second thing you can do is you can do throat friction. Okay, so you can just tune into my microphone here as I'll do it. And one more time. So when you're doing that breathing in, you'll feel that throat friction just at the base here, and it's actually touching the medulla oblongata, okay? The medulla oblongata is like it's like this arrangement of chords, right? An arrangement of nerves, but it basically represents like the power supply pertaining to the inner eye, the brow chakra, the anya chakra altogether. So why am I telling you guys about the chakra centers? Because we're going to base the lower and higher worlds through the chakra centers. Okay? And so as I talked about, this would represent the lower world. And so what is the lower world about? Well, firstly, I'm going to draw this. Okay? This would represent the pit. That is really what represents the lower world. It's just this open pit. And when we're looking into the lower world, this really correlates together with the first chakra, with the Muladhara. Okay? The Muladhara is all about, well, again, we talk about it, it's the root, it's the base of life, it is the foundation. It is the very basis in regards to our own primal state of just starting to move into sentience. Okay? So when you're actually looking at the Muladhara, this is the root, this is the center that's actually just starting to move yourself into sentience. Okay, if we're not at Muladhara, if we're not at the root, then there are 7 lower chakras, even below the root chakra. Okay? I have termed these as sub-chakras. But another term you can call it are patelas. Okay? This is shared in yoga as well too. They are animal chakras. These are sub-chakras to which the animals have. And there's 7 of them. The patella actually being the lowest of the chakra centers, of the sub-chakras. That's actually at the feet. Okay? And it's actually more of a solid black color. Okay? These other ones move from a very deep dark brown up into a lighter brown, just before you reach the root chakra or the Muladhara chakra. Okay, so this is animalistic, these chakras. The good news is we as humans don't really work with these sub-chakras at all. Okay? They are very instinctual. They are all about sensory-based consciousness, and they are all about instinct. Okay? It's more appropriate that the balance of Mother Nature and Mother Earth is helping you to actually live your life if you were an animal, right? If you're a cat, if you're a dog, if you're a bird, if you're any kind of wild animal, and you're basically in alignment with the patelas, you follow natural instinct. You follow the nature of Earth. This is often what we would refer to as second density life forms. Okay? Second density life forms that function in a third density, or again, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional sphere. So that, again, represents animalistic consciousness. But a lot of people who are here in this pit are still living right here. They're just at the very base of the chakra, and all they are doing is concerned about survival. It's survival of this, it's survival of the fittest. What am I going to do? How am I going to make ends meet? How should anybody, somebody should guide me, help me with my life. I don't know how to make a decision, right? Okay, government's telling me what to do. Oh, I need to make sure I pay the rent tomorrow. If I don't do that, I'll be thrown out in the street. What about my next meal? What about this? What about that? It's always about survival, okay? When this chakra is out of balance, it becomes a survival chakra. And this is the root of the lower world, okay? And like I said, unfortunately, there's quite a lot of people on the planet that have not even been able to transcend that chakra center, okay? They have not even been able to go up into the next center above, even to their Swadisthana, right? The genital chakra, or the gonad chakra, which really just represents, it's kind of like a twin. The interesting thing about the root chakra and the Swadhisthana, or the Muladhara and the Swadhisthana, is they're like twin chakras, okay? So the Muladhara is at the coccyx, it's right at the edge of the tailbone, and then you have the Swadhisthana, which is actually in the genitals, okay? And it's connected right into the sacrum. But basically, if we're looking at a person who's just very, very deeply rooted in physicality, they're often very aggressive, they're very temperamental, they're very paranoid, They're very prideful. They're very arrogant. They're very dependent. They're kind of sleazy in that way. They're greedy, right? They just basically want to claw onto material life, right? Just very, very sleazy, greedy, power hungry, energy vampires, okay? That is basically the intelligence of the Muladhara when it is out of alignment. And it just becomes pure survival. It's like being in a zombie movie, right? You just want the zombie just wants to feed off the brains, right? Wants to feed off the carcass, wants to basically just survive another few minutes or a whole day, etc. So that would represent the discordant nature pertaining to the Muladhara. Then we go up into the Swadisthana. The Swadisthana, like I said, is connected to the gonads. Okay, it's connected to the sacrum. And that's all about sexuality when it's distorted, okay? It's all about sex, 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 lust, 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 right? I want sex, 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 I want lust, lust, lust. And it becomes a greed pertaining to sexuality. If there's any particular form of relationship to be formed, then again, all it wants to be is just looking at the lustful side of the relationship. How can I use a person, right? I just see them for their body. I want their body, and that's all I want, right? So it is still kind of a zombification pertaining to an out-of-alignment nature representing that chakra center. And that is the Swadhisthana. Like I said, it's connected to if you have the triangular area of the sacrum, it's just right behind, for men, it's right behind our urethra. For women, it's in the cervix. Okay? That is the second chakra, that is Swadhisthana. Then we go up into the third chakra. The third chakra, again, like I said, this is the true navel chakra. That again, Western New Age basically believes that it's right here, that it's a solar center, okay? We do actually have a center here, but this is not a chakra. Okay, it's actually down here, and it's right below the belly button. And that is referred to as the manipura chakra. So let me write these names down for you guys so you get an idea how they're spelled. Okay, there's Muladhara. You can also spell it with 2 O's as well. Then we have Swadhisthana. Okay, then we have manipura at the navel, the third chakra. Okay, so manipura really represents the nature of willpower. It represents the nature of the ego self. Again, if it's misaligned, very much all about ego, right? So I may have grief, I may have guilt, I want praise from people, I want attention from people, me, 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 me. It's really about the me, the mine, and the I. When it's completely out of alignment. What am I going to do? How am I going to survive this? Who cares about that person? What about me? Right? How am I going to use my power to get out of this? How am I going to use my stroke to get out of this? What about me? Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to do this? Oh, wait, I did that. No, I took care of this thing. I managed to do it. I let this happen. I brought it out, right? It's just getting this huge vocality of pure ego when a person has, again, misaligned the manipura chakra. I this and me that, and I got to have this, right? It's a having. It really becomes a desire chakra when it's out of alignment, right? We want desires, we have cravings, we want things, we got to have this. And I need to get praise, I need to be praised here. I'm so important and you're not important, but I'm the one that matters. Okay? And then there's the other side as well too. I don't deserve this, or I feel like I'm being victimized, or I feel like I'm being hurt, or I don't know what I should do. I feel so ashamed. Okay, there's those two sides, those two extremes pertaining to the manipura. So when we're looking at these lower 3 chakras, that is the essence pertaining to the lower world. Unfortunately, the majority of the world is aligned to these 3 chakra centers. I'd say maybe about approximately 2/3. Now, the good news is some people are starting to harmonize these centers because they do start to work a lot more with their heart. Okay? But you're not going to go into the higher world until firstly you start harmonizing those centers and you cross a boundary. And that next boundary comes through the heart center, okay, which is the anahata. Okay, the heart chakra, the anahata chakra. Okay, this is all about love. This is all about empathy. This is all about compassion. And of course, when it is misaligned, heartbreak, depression, guilt, great suffering, right? Feeling that we can never love again. Again, advanced levels of victimization consciousness. That person broke my heart. I don't know if I'm ever going to love again. I don't know if I'm ever going to do anything, right? It just goes into despair-like victimization, okay? And that heart gets troubled. But when we actually start to activate the heart, let me see if I can move this up a little bit more. Okay, so those will be the 3 chakras there. Here's the heart here, the throat, and of course the anya. All right. So when we actually go into the heart and we start healing it, we start healing the heart, we start to value our empathy. Now, as I talked about, the majority of the planet are still basically battling with these 3. But when you actually start to go up into the 4th chakra, up into the anahata, you are now starting to rejuvenate your love. But if you're not there, it's like that heart just turns into like a wilted prune. Okay? The heart is still intact, but the energy is so dim. Okay? There's hardly any juice. There's hardly any prana that's flowing into that heart because we're transfixed on these lower 3 lower world chakras. And that's where disaster strikes. And of course, these upper chakras aren't even developed yet. They basically just stay dormant. For someone in that sense who is able to go into the heart space, which is the good news, that is now starting to reach more of a climb. Okay, this is why I say that at most we probably have 2/3 majority at the lower 3 chakra level. But we're starting to get that extra third, and it may start to move up a little bit further here too soon, about people coming into the heart chakra, coming into anahata. And that is all about the healing process. That is all about being able to heal old problems, old conflicts, regrets, traumas, right? A lot of it is impacted heavily upon the heart center. So we have a broken heart, we're traumatized, we have so much empathy that therefore becomes abused. Then again, like I said, it's like it's wilting. It's like this flower that hasn't had water in days, and now the petals are starting to drop off it, and it's starting to wilt away altogether. But when you start to move up to the heart center and you start healing yourself, guess what happens? You start moving up here. You start moving up here. This is all it takes, is to transcend the misalignments of the lower 3 centers so that you're now coming into the heart center. So a person who realizes, I'm not going to play the survival game anymore, because that is what the lower world represents. It is survival. And the people that are living in the lower world haven't even begun to live yet. They're in the lower, and all they do is survive. They want to survive another day. They want to go get a job. They want to work for a living. They don't mind being enslaved as long as they get a paycheck. They are completely being bamboozled by their family, by their friends, by authority, and so forth. It's the zombie life. It's a slave life. That's what the lower world represents. I'm quite amazed at times too, because I'll look into a person's energy body, I'll look into their chakra centers, and I'll tell them these things, and they're just kind of like doing this. Yeah. But you know there's a way to change this, right? Yeah. So first of all, it's good that they're admitting this, but it's like they don't even want to keep their head up high. So you admit that you've been doing, yeah, I've been living a slave life for sure. Okay. Are you interested in changing it? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. So I do get those people that just feel like the entire joy of their being has been completely sucked out of them. But again, this is why I do what I do, to encourage them and now start to educate them about the centers and saying, well, good news is there's a very simple way of how we're able to correct this. Oh, yeah. And that's what starts to pique their interest, right? So if I go up to a person and saying, well, you know what, you're going to have to start taking full responsibility for yourself. It's almost like the life's getting sucked out of them once again. So I have to learn, of course, a little bit more about being a little more subtle with this. But of course, still truthful. The good news is we can heal this, and we can heal this quite simply. Right? If you guys have tuned into my channel, I think you pretty much know what I'm going to say. All right? That is what I'm going to say. But as I said, people are able to heal this. We have come through this because this is us feeling like we're going to get exactly what we need to get by living in a servitude world, a lower world. It's not going to bring any dreams to you. It's not going to make your dreams come true. You're going to be too busy trying to make other people's dreams come true because you do not have any particular tactfulness. You don't have any desire. You don't have any drive to letting your own transformations come together, to letting your own abundance shine brightly. We stay completely transfixed on these lower three centers. And those are the people in the lower world. Those are the people that are just fighting in the pit for survival. But then when we start getting here, what happens? We are able to completely leave the pit. And we're on even ground. And as we're on even ground, what is going to happen next is we're opening up the heart. This is so very important. Do you want to change? Do you want to actually start living life? Well, this is what you have to do. We have to heal this so that we can get here. So we can get to the heart. And when you're at the heart, you're able to do this. And you're able to do it profoundly. Okay? If you're just down here, this just won't make sense to you. This is a foreign language to you if you're still here. But when you're up here, you will understand what you're doing. And again, I really cannot help you. Many teachers, coaches, etc., cannot help you if you're not here. If you're down here, you got to get out of it. Okay? We may give you encouragement, we may give you advice, but if you don't take that advice, you're stuck. Because that's the lower world. I don't touch the lower world. I help you when you're here. That doesn't mean that your heart is fully repaired. Your heart may still feel very broken, but you're ready to move upwards. You're ready to say, Brad, I've had enough of this lower world. I've had enough of this suffering. I've had enough of this joke and facade of life where I have to work for a living, where I have to basically feel like I'm at the beck and call of psychopaths, where I have everybody thinking that they know what's best for me when I want to know what's best for me. And I want to make this change. I want to start living inside my heart. I want to start being peaceful. I want to start learning to live from the inside. And I could just hug that person. And the good news is I do have a lot of people like that. And those are the ones I'm very much just so thrilled to work with here and now. So we have to get here. We have to get to the heart. And when we get to the heart, we now start jumping out of that old pit. Now again, this is where there's a little bit of an uphill journey. Okay, we have to go uphill. Because if we look down here, there's a bit of a slope here. Sure, it looks pretty simple, but that's bringing you back into the pit. Okay, it's kind of like on here, here's the left side of the road, and here's the right side of the road. The left side of the road looks really, really easy. It looks smooth, there's no hills. It's just a very, very easy walk. And over here, we got this big hill. We got some rocks in the way. doesn't look very, very appealing. So a lot of us will go to the left path. And as soon as we take a step towards the left path, the ground breaks from beneath us. And we're holding on to dear life, saying, what the heck happened here? I thought this was an easy path to follow. And that's you going back into the pit. That's you going back into the lower world. But then there's the higher world, which means we have to do a little bit of climbing at first. And as long as you know that you have your bearings, because the change within you says it's time to come into the heart, that's what's going to make the difference. And you can make that climb. All right, so here's a bit of a climb here. I'm going to start here. I'm going to do a little bit of a climb upwards, and it will start to even itself out a little bit. Okay, it's not like you're climbing Mount Everest. You're climbing a bit of a hill. There's a few of those rocks in the way. It gets rocky at first, but it now starts to smooth itself out now that you have made the journey to the right side. And this is where we heal the heart, okay? I don't need to get into exactly how you heal the heart. You guys should already know that by now. Even if you're new, then you know to look at this. You know to go to my playlists. You know to do the 30-day challenge of the BCR technique, okay? So this is where our journey now starts to move upwards. We're actually making an ascent, okay? We're going through a personal ascension. And that personal ascension is all about the idea of healing from here down. And when we heal from here down, this center, the Vishuddha, the throat chakra, is the culmination of all the work that has been done from here down. And now when we enter the throat, we are entering our own wisdom. We are entering intelligence. We are now entering a house. It's like a house that's inside the throat, where we can now speak wisely, where we can now speak intelligently, where we can now speak truthfully, because we have spent so much time working on the lower 4 centers that we're now coming up here and we're living inside the house. And that is the Vishuddha chakra. That is the throat chakra right here. This is a very important chakra because this is all about your wisdom, your intelligence, your ability to express yourself, you standing confidently. It's your confidence, okay? It's your ability to express. It's your ability to share insight. It's you standing firm. It's you standing tall. It's you being strong. It is like the capstone on the pyramid. These are really the only 5 centers we need to look at first. We do not need to concern about this, and we don't need to concern about this. Not at this time. We want to make sure we're getting the first 5 centers intact, because those 5 centers deal with the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, or ether, or akasha. And that is basically what the 5th chakra here represents. It's your akash. It's your ether. It's space. Okay? So we have that here. We have earth. We have water. We have fire. We have air. We have akash. Okay? That again is the same combination that is on your fingers. Here's the earth finger. Here is the water finger. Here is the fire finger. Here is the air finger. Here is the akash finger. Okay? If you want to give it simple initials, EWFAS. Okay? EWFAS. Okay? Which S can also be ether or akash. Right? So you could even call it the EWFAS. But EWFAS, I think, does it pretty well. Okay? And just remember that that's the flow of your centers. Your centers correlate to the 5 elements from the Muladhara all the way up into the Vishuddha. Okay? Some people call it the Vishuddhi or the Vishuddha. Either way is fine. Okay? The Vishuddha chakra representing the throat. So as long as we start to work from the heart upwards, you're in the higher world. Brad, what do you get when you're in the higher world? Freedom. You get peace. You now start to see the big picture of what reality is all about. So many of us dream about being a superhero. So many of us dream about having these profound abilities. Well, guess what, guys? You're not going to have any abilities when you're down here. Okay? None at all. These are base. These are solidity. This is foundation. This is something that is just survival based until we start to clean them up. Now our root chakra will all be about life foundation. It'll be about our strength. This will represent our divine connections. This will be us being able to be in harmony with our sexual energy. This is us using our willpower for our harmonious, our righteous reasons, right? So we're bringing righteousness to all three of those chakra centers. And as we do that, now we move up here into the heart and we start clearing away the regrets, the traumas, and the conflicts that have stored themselves in the heart for a very long time. And no matter how many of those regrets, traumas, or conflicts you have, the heart is still beating. You are still alive. You are still here. And as you're still here, as long as you're breathing, if you want to make a change and you want to go all the way to the divine, which is more beautiful than you could ever possibly imagine, we have to get on board and we have to clear away those problems, and we can do it easily by that free technique that I have for you guys. Okay, that's all it takes. And then we start moving up into the throat chakra and we take our power back. We are in the house of culmination. We are at the capstone. We are in the ether. We are in space. We are in the Akash. And we're now realizing our divine power. We are now realizing our divine connection. That's what the throat chakra, the Vishuddha, represents. Now, if you want to go even higher than that, even up to the higher world, okay, then that's when we start working together with the anya chakra. And now when we're looking at this, when we're looking at the crown, this is not a chakra center, okay? This is not a chakra. It is a gateway. It is referred to as Sahasrara. Okay? So if we're going down here now, so we have the anya chakra, the inner eye, the brow chakra, and we also have the Sahasrara. 1,000 petals. It's like wearing a crown on your head that is made out of 1,000 petals. When you open that, I'll tell you later, okay? But if you're deciding to go with the anya chakra and you want to open that up, well, this is all about spiritual insight, right? This is all about the idea of foresight. This is about the idea that you are completely in touch with the higher plane, which we often refer to as the causal, okay? This is a direct link to the causal plane, the anya chakra. Okay, not to the astral, but to the causal. So the causal is, again, everything that represents the anya chakra, because now you are getting ideas. Now you are getting visions. Now you are getting insight. You are getting foresight within yourself, because now you have opened up this center. As you have opened up this center, you are now starting to be completely in harmony, in connection together with the causal plane. And the causal plane is all about ideas. It is all about concepts. It is the higher mind, right? So when we come here, this is the culmination of all the other centers below, representing your wisdom, representing your knowledge, representing your voice, representing your connection to the heaven, right? The Akash, the space, the ether. And then we move up into the causal. And we again activate and align the anya chakra, okay? And anything that basically has blocked the anya chakra is us being way too materialized. We are too much into the material. We are too attached to things. We're too attached to the gross reality, to the physical reality. And like I said, you are welcome to come back to this earth over and 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 over again. Many times as you want. There's no limit. But the only reason why we come back to this beautiful blue planet is because of this. Here we are, attached to the earth. We have desires. And those desires are what brings us back again and again. No, I want to have a family. No, I want to eat more of Earth's delicious food. No, I want to have this type of career. No, I want to have this kind of relationship. No, I want to be a parent this time. Okay, whatever the desire is. I want to be a millionaire. I want to own a big business. I want to explore the planet a lot more. I want to travel, etc., etc. All of those are chords. I want somebody to respect me. I want to feel respected in this next lifetime. And we come back again to different dimensional Earths that have similarity to themselves about how they're run, but it's always going to be your own unique Earth. Do we have to come back? Not at all. Nope. It is not mandatory for you to incarnate. It is voluntary. Everything pertaining to the earth is a voluntary incarnation experience. You are never forced. But you're the one that basically makes the decision. Because you leave your physical body, you are collected by your angels, and you go through a life review. And through that life review, you are seeing exactly the depth of relationship that you have with every single soul that you have come in contact with. People who you love and people who you have hurt, people you hate. And you are going to vividly experience all the suffering that you have ever caused to another being. And this is what, again, causes people to look back at the earth and saying, you're right, I have to go back. I want to work on this. Go for it. You're the one that's brought yourself here. Nobody else did. You think the big guy here, right here you are, this little guy, and he's pointing right back. Get your butt back down there. Okay, just don't hurt me. No. Okay. There is no the big guy. There's only you. If anything, you become that big guy. And you, as that big guy says, get your butt back down there. And you decide to come back and incarnate again and again and again. Because as soon as you're there, as soon as you leave the body, like, oh my God, I never have to come back again. Well, hang on, pal. Hang on. Let's get the angels to collect you. Let's take you in for your life review. And let's show you everything that you have been through on the earth. And you go through it. Okay, I need to go back. I need to correct these things. I want to do it again. And that's why we come back. Once you see your life review, you decide to come back again because you want to set things straight. And why do you want to set things straight? Because you have tethers on yourself. And that is why you keep coming back. You have desires. And you again reach that conclusion. You decide to come back and incarnate again and again and again and again times 1,000. And this is what happens. This is why a lot of us have basically spent thousands of years in incarnation because we have not got past this. You have not got past the lower world. And now here is your chance. Here's your opportunity, staring right at the face of you and saying you can now end thousands of years of suffering that you have placed upon yourself lifetime after lifetime. And now you have the ability to change. So that when you truly go through the entire process of leaving this earth and reflecting back on it, No, I'm good. I'm ready to move on. I want to move into the higher planes. I want to go into the Akashic records. I want to go to all these other really beautiful worlds that I can't even imagine actually exist. Because there are actually far more beautiful worlds than this one. This is a beautiful world in that way, but it's a very powerful school. Okay? And when you're moving truly into the higher worlds, it's not even going to be on this plane. It's not even going to be in physical reality. You're going to be going up into astral worlds. You're going to be going up into causal worlds. You're going to be going up into higher celestial worlds, into spirit worlds that are so incredibly beautiful, you cannot even imagine. But in order for you to get there, you have to go through this, because you're just not going to experience. You're going to be locked out. You're locked out because you have no knowledge of those realms. You're only looking at all of these, and you're completely denying any opportunity that you try to give yourself from evolving, from changing, from transforming, from being luminous. This is what I want to teach you guys, is that when you start to let go of these regrets, traumas, and conflicts, you start healing your centers, you start healing the body, you start healing your emotions, you start healing the mind, and you come out of it now fresh, like you've been born a second time. You're now being born of the Spirit. I can tell you this, guys, because this is what's happened to me. And as I started this whole journey 14 years ago, I was just like one of these guys here. That's exactly where I was. I had no intentions to look into psychic phenomena. I had no intentions to be a healer, to be a channeler, to be a medium. None of that interested me. It wasn't until that summertime of 2008 when things started to shift, and I started looking into all of this, and I could not get enough. It was the missing link in my life. And every one of us has that trigger. We have the ability to trigger that in this lifetime, absolutely. But it is that commitment that you need. It is that desire to be at peace. It is that desire to expand. It is that desire to move into bliss. You have to make bliss your whole life. You have to make the expansion your whole life. I'm not talking about you guys being tortured. Okay? This is torture. But when you're going from here up, you're moving into bliss. You're moving into expansion. Everything now becomes so incredibly simple. I'm able to let go of these old attachments that were draining me, that were sucking the very vital life force out of me, because I was seeing myself in survival, in slavery, in zombie mode. And I've let go of that because, guys, that's where I started. I started there. And I was trying to make ends meet, and I was trying to make money, and I was trying to provide for the family, and I was going through this rat race of life, really unhappy, really depressed, until I got the call to start opening myself up spiritually. And that was the game changer. That's what changed everything. And it took me nearly 14 years from that point on to here, to get here. Some people say, oh, Brad just must be so gifted. He just must be able to do all this. No, guys, you're talking to one of your own. A person who was, again, down in the dumps because he was depressed about his life. That's where I came from. Being raised as a Jehovah's Witness at birth and hating every second of it, and leaving it there as a teenager, and then just kind of wandering, right? My own spiritual body was basically just crippled by that. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know who to talk to. It wasn't until I started opening up an online community that I started talking to people of like mind. What did I do? I found my soul tribe. Just like I tell you guys to do. Find the people that think as you do. Find the people that have that connection to you, that you feel is very, very special. It feels like you're at home with them. That's what you want, because that's what happened to me. I had this online world that I could go to because I didn't know anybody locally in my neck of the woods at the time. I went online. I started creating this little website, and I started talking to people. I started following channeling. I started doing channeling. I started performing energy healing. And I started going much more deeper into channeling. And I started looking into mediumship, and I started looking into remote viewing. And I started to look into astrology. I started to look into magic. I started to look into all of these different things. And through my continual ability channeling Adronis, I moved higher and higher and higher. Until August 31st of last year, where I cut the net of Adronis, of that channeling, and moved into natural spirit communication, being a vessel for spirit, which has been more profound within less than a year than my entire 13 years of channeling. And I have always said since day one, even since I started this channel, I am going to show you guys what I'm going to do. That's what all these videos show you. You can go back to 2011 with all the videos that I have on this channel. I'm going to show you guys what I do. And as I show you, you're going to watch me change. And now you can follow suit as well. As I change, you can change with me. And here I am today, where I feel like my training is pretty much all done. I'm out of the training phase now. I'm in the teacher phase now. And so basically you come into a student, you come into a teacher, and then you come into a master, which is what I'm moving towards now. So again, I'm telling you this because I have been there. I'm telling you this because I have gone through all that turmoil. I have gone through sacrifice. I have gone through survival. I have gone through hurt and pain and suffering to finally get to where I am. Brad, was it worth it? You damn right. And I would do it 1,000 times over, exactly the same. Because there is nothing more rewarding when you get here. When you get here. There's nothing greater than that. Nothing. Nothing this world could ever offer me would cause me from move to here, down to here. Nothing. The earth has nothing that I want. Because I already have everything that I want. And it's not riches, it's not materialization, it's not resources, it's not friends, it's not family, it's not a relationship. It's spirit, it's God, it's the permanence. And now I feel that. I live inside that realization. And my job, you guys, has been to give you the most simplest of practices for you to do so that you can get there too. That's been my goal. That's why I'm able to say all these things that I'm able to teach. Because I've done them. Every single thing that I mention on this board, guys, about how you get from here all the way up to here, I've done it. And I'm teaching you guys through experience about how you can do it too. This is why I like to hear more feedback from you guys. I want to hear exactly what you are going through. Whether you put that in the comments of this video, whether you email me, and you just say, Brad, this is what I'm going through. And I can give you recommendations because New Earth Teachings is going to be changing here in the next little while. We're going to be starting to move together with students, not clients. We're going to start moving together in free exercises, free Kundalini awakening sessions, where you are going to learn to raise your Kundalini because I'm going to be guiding you every step of the way. Cleaning every single chakra, balancing it out, and then running Kundalini through your body, one chakra at a time, so that you can now go from the lower world to the higher world. And when you start to succeed over that 7-month span, one new chakra center awoken to Kundalini every single month for 7 months for free, where you guys will be my students. And I will help you through this process. And that is coming at the end of June with the Kundalini Awakening sessions. I'm happy to take you guys from here and bring you here. But I have to see that drive. I have to see that wanting for you to change. I want to see that commitment out of you guys, because those are going to be my students. And the students are going to get 90% of my time, whereas clients are going to get about 10%. I'm really only interested in the majority, to working together with people that want to go all the way. Because when you go all the way, there's no fear. There's no fear, there's no survival, there's no suffering, because you're going to know how to transcend all that. You guys already know how to do that through BCR for those of you who have watched. And you're going to learn how to move into the higher world. You're going to move from here to here. You are now going to sever all of these tethers. And now you do not have to come back to earth. Now you're going to get invitations from Spirit to taking you up into higher worlds. That you will learn how to completely let go of everything within this life, where you will understand what true family actually means. And that's how I see every single one of you, as true family, as soul family. I'm seeing souls. I'm not seeing people anymore. I'm not seeing men and women and children. I see souls. And that is so beautiful beyond words. You're not living in physicality anymore. Even though you have a physical body, even though you have a physical mind, even though you're living on a physical world, you're not a part of it. You're free. This is something that our great teachers and masters of thousands of years have been trying to teach us. But we could not get the message because we're buying into religions, where a lot of those religions are painting the wrong picture. And they are warring and they are fighting because one person won't agree with the way their God works. That's nothing to do with this at all. Okay? If you want all of that, that's where this comes in. That's the lower, distorted 3 chakras, blinded by idiocy, ignorance, and arrogance. And that's the lower world. So again, this is why I want to share this video. Not only about the lower and the higher worlds, but also letting you know what my intentions are in the months to come. And how there's going to be free lessons, there's going to be free sessions with the Kundalini Awakening sessions. And my students are also going to have free monthly sessions with me as well too. All free. Will I still be doing some paid sessions? Yes. But those have, again, longer periods of time. And that can be available for people who are not my students as well too. But like I said, the majority of my attention is going to go towards my students, not the clients. So a lot of great stuff to look forward to here as we move closer and closer to the end of 2022. And I'm looking forward to bringing out the Kundalini Awakening sessions and teaching you guys how to go from the lower world to the higher world and leaving the lower world behind completely. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you can check out the websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can order a private session, 3 questions by email, EQ method, and a lot more. And you can also check out healingcodecards.com, where you can grab your mind deck, your body deck, and of course the brand new Body Deck Special Edition. All of these are available in digital editions as well. And you can also get a shirt just like this through healingcodeshop.com, where you can experience the healing codes in apparel form. So feel free to check out these websites. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Be well.